name is Kathy Brown with the Teacher's Pet, and I just wanted to introduce you to Valdani threads. I have fallen in love with Valdani threads. I have been a fan for years, and there's a number of reasons why. I do a lot of wool applique, and Valdani threads are perfect for wool applique. They're perfect for a number of different reasons. Number one, they are 100% color fast. Your threads will never bleed. Your colors will never run. The colors in the threads are done in an ecologically friendly manner. They do not leave any toxins behind. That the colors run clear, your water runs clear when the threads are dyed, and so therefore when you use the threads in your projects, you will not have any bleed from the threads onto your existing work. Valdani comes in a range of different colors. They have over 450 different thread colors in a number of different collections or single threads. For example, we have collections here in the pearl cottons in 12 weight, like we have here, or the 8 weight pearl cottons. In your threads, Valdani has threads that are perfect for quilting needs, embroidery needs. You can use the threads in your long arm machines or your home domestic machines for domestic quilting. They come in both a 50 weight and a 35 weight. If you look closely, you can see to the eye, easy to the eye, the differences in the threads. The variegated threads, both in the quilting cottons or sewing cottons, as well as the pearl cottons, all have a beautiful way that they are dyed. There's no set definition where the color cuts from one color to the next through the graded shade. It simply flows from one to the next. So that when you're working on a punch needle project, for example, and you want to punch and have those threads go from one color to the next, you're not getting a choppy look. You're getting a smooth transition. The same goes for your machine quilting. As you can see here, we have some 35 weight thread and some 50 weight thread in these pieces. And in these pieces, some are variegated threads, some are solid threads. But either way, especially with the variegated, here you can see how the color transitions so gradually that you don't see that choppy effect. It's a beautiful transition. Here in this piece, you can see how that effect again in the variegated threads through here, going so smooth in their transition. A 35 weight thread was used in the outer border of this piece, and in the thread painting here inside the center of this piece, and let me lay this down in front for you to see, you can see how the variegated threads just blend into each other very, very well without any choppy effect. So Valdani threads are perfect for so many uses. Again, like I said, I use them primarily for wool applique. And I love the wool applique with Valdani, again, not only for their color and their wide range of color, but for the fact that the thread glides through the cotton and the wool with ease. What I'll do is show you that for just a moment. On this piece, I used wool on top of wool on top of wool. Then I set this wool on top of 100% cotton quilting fabric. The wool will naturally glide through the wool very easily with your thread. But the one thing I do love about the Valdani threads is that they are on a ball. The threads do not knot up when you are going to take your stitches. So you've got your threads that just stay straight, And as you can see, the hardest thing here would be going from wool to cotton. The two textures are very different, and with other threads, I've had trouble with the threads knotting or twisting or having some kind of mechanical problem. Wool to wool is the same medium, so you have no problem. But oftentimes, if you're going wool to cotton, you will have some pulling, some twisting, some bunching, simply because it's two different mediums that you are working with. However, with the Valdani threads, they don't bunch, they do not get caught up. You don't have to use thread conditioner, beeswax, anything like that. It just works effortlessly. You put your needle in, you run it out, and look how easy that thread glides through both textures. It moves just so effortlessly. Of course, I'm making bigger stitches here than I did on the rest of the piece so that you can get an idea of how this glides through. If you make a mistake, you can just see how easily the thread pulls out. Again, no bunching inside of your needle, no twisting. And it also comes out of your piece just as easily. And in doing that, I want to show you, as we all know, if we've used threads that have bled before, this would be a nightmare if you decide to reposition your piece, because your threads that bleed will leave color behind. I'm going to lift this up and show you that there's absolutely nothing there except for the holes where my needle went. The thread did not leave any color behind whatsoever, just my holes. So once again, you can see how easy it is to use the Valdani pearl cotton doing your wool applique or any of your embroidery stitches, and you will not get the bleeding effect from piece to piece. Another thing I love to work with is punch needle. The balls of pearl cotton are perfect to use with punch needle. It's single strand, and I can use either the size 8 or the size 12 for punch needle, depending upon the project that I'm working with. Of course, if I'm working with a smaller project, I tend to go with the size 12, which is a thinner pearl cotton. If I'm working with a larger project, I would go with the size 8, and that would give you a much bigger thread look. But not only do I use the pearl cottons for my punch needle, I absolutely love using the 3-strand floss. And let me show you that for just a moment. This is a box of the Muddy Monet collection by Jacqueline Payton for Valdani, and these are the 3-strand floss balls. When you're doing punch needle, the one thing you really do not want is that thread being caught up at the back end of your punch needle and getting twisted and getting messy. The little balls of Valdani thread do not do that. You have 3 strands. It's easily separated into 1, 2, or all 3 strands for your punch needle. Again, doing very small projects, very tiny items, you want to use 1 strand. The strands separate from the ball from a length of thread that you pull off the ball very easily. They don't twist, they don't stick together and make a knotted mess. You can use the 1 strand for a very tiny project, 2 strands, or the 3 strands to get the look that you want. So as you can see, Valdani threads have a wide number of uses. But again, I want to stress to you that these threads are 100% color fast. They won't bleed if you're doing red work. They won't bleed if you're using them for quilting. They won't bleed if you're using them for sewing. Any project you have is 100% safe to use with your Valdani threads because you will not get any bleeding. They are color fast. I hope you've enjoyed a look into the Valdani threads, and remember, you can get your threads in collections like this or in singles in the individual packages. Myself, I love the collections because no matter what, I've got threads that will fit every need at my disposal. Thanks for listening to Valdani Threads.